company which started with 10 lakhs capital, last year was valued at 7,000 crores. My advice to all youngsters will be master of what you are good at, be confident about what you are going to do, and be strong in what you want to do. And if you stick to your guns, nothing will ever go wrong. Being a chemical engineer, the first goal was to get into manufacturing. And that's where when I had an opportunity to be entrepreneur, I was successful in manufacturing, but I saw that selling was an art and we were struggling and we had to depend on the traders, etc. And after 7 years of hard work at the plant, I realized it's time to get into business development and be in direct touch with the consumers, which can help me to expand my growth. Hetero was an exciting journey. Our goal was to be a niche player, to be a trendsetter in various therapeutic categories, right from the leadership in HIV to cardiac to CNS segment to antibiotics. So basically, the biggest platform in hetero where when I visited first time to Latin America and especially in Brazil, where the Brazilian Minister of Health, Sarah, informed me that they've been spending close to $2 billion in HIV, then there's no generic player. And that's where we joined hands together and we started venturing into HIV. And then, of course, we brought one after another molecule as the first generic into the market, and which opened the new saga of activities for us, where we decided to be a trendsetter for a complex generics, and then the rest is the history. So since 93 until 2002, my major work was globally, mainly on HIV and certain key molecules in various therapeutic category. And I had enough of HIV, where in 2003, when my father was first time diagnosed with cancer, and being an only son, I used to be with him for all his treatment during diagnosis to the treatment. And I realized that cancer is another big segment where generic players have a very limited stake. And majorly the market was dominated by MNCs. And the treatment was also unaffordable. During his journey of chemotherapy, I witnessed a couple of incidences where I saw a young boy of 4 years who could not avail a treatment because the parents had virtually depleted everything out of their reserve surplus to treat the boy. And finally, he was stranded in a day where he couldn't avail the chemotherapy treatment. And I think that was the time that I decided to start my new journey with cancer, because I realized that there's a lot to do in this space to bring the complex generic at an affordable price into the market. And that's where the journey of BDR began. We are one of these companies who do not chase the IMS data or ORG. Normally, the business development of any large company, they follow the IMS data. And if any molecule which is more than $1 billion, they count to be the first generic with 20% share, and that's how the journey begins. In BDR, we chase the disease pattern. Then we work on life-threatening diseases. That's how, apart from cancer, we got into critical care, where I saw that in majority of the cases of lung infection, including my father when he was admitted in Jaslok, and he was in ICU where his lung was completely collapsed due to water and food particle. The conventional treatments were given, which was not really helping. And that's where I started my journey with the most complex molecule in partnership with Teva called casbofungin. So the idea was always to look at life-threatening disease, chase the disease pattern, and that's how apart from oncology, we got into critical care. The reason of getting into gynecology was that in today's generation, where majority of the couple want to first build their career and dream of having a baby later, where they find it very difficult, we saw that this was another area where on infertility, there's a big space for the advanced drugs to come in and benefit the patient. That's how the journey started in gynecology. As well as in today's world, 90% of the people work with a lot of stress level due to their work pressure, family pressure, etc. And CNS is another segment where we came out with the first molecule for a stroke management in 2007. And that started our journey into CNS segment. Then, of course, dermatological preparation, because I myself suffering from psoriasis since 1997, which has been majorly due to lack of sleep, uh, anxiety levels, eczema. As I've been traveling to Latin America for a trip of almost 180 days, and same way in Sub-Saharan Africa, and I used to catch the flights in the night time. So I hardly used to sleep. My sleeping time was 4 hours. I was going through various climatic zone, and I found that there's no treatment available. So that's how I started my journey in derma in order to look for some new tropical medicines which could help for a patient like me who can be benefited. We live with the philosophy that whenever we have something good to offer, rather than go by ourselves in a country of targeted market, we look for a strong alliance partner in those part of the world, and we partner with them and introduce our new molecules in the market. Now, as you know, that our Honorable Shri Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has been talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, the same vision majority of the countries carry, and everybody wants to be self-reliant. So BDR is going beyond India in terms of its investments, and geographically we started already our investment in Algeria, in a state of Barthena, which is a market of around $500 million for cancer. And as a local producer, government could give us exclusive rights for selling to the government, which is the major buyer. And same way, now we are putting up a joint venture in Russia, and we are looking at some investments in US and Europe. Nothing in today's world is possible without teamwork. And for every management, there is something like a core team. That core team exists of various expertise and experience. And if all carry the same vision as the leader, nothing is impossible. I did have certain set of challenges. I had a major set of challenges because first major challenge was I had no money in my pocket because I left abruptly out of hetero due to certain personal reasons. And that time I had no more than 10 lakh rupees in my pocket. And if I count way back in January 2002, that in March I had to pay the fees of 20 lakhs for my kids studying in Mercedes Benz in Pune in IB curriculum. I didn't know how I'm going to pay the fees also. I had several giants in pharma who offered me a very senior position to join on the board. But I decided to be of my own because I believe that I had enough global relationship and I trusted upon it. My wife backed me up completely because she was a very strong personality who said that it's enough you've done some collaborative work, it's time for you to be of your own. And that's where we got a success on the very day one, and it's all in front of you. Do what you're good at. This is the first motto because I always tell my kids also, you will have enough professionals coming in your way who would show you moon, but don't work on a borrowed knowledge unless you get into the deep of it. So I believe as an engineer, I always believed in the chemistry and pharmacology, and I stuck to my guns. I never deviated my attention to anything else. The only reason I could grow is because I deployed all my resources into my business, even though there were enough opportunities in land, in stock exchange, and various other things, but I never deviated my attention to it. And third most important team is the seniors who are associated with me for years together. They've been a long lasting relationship, and I'd seen their career graph, their dedication, their honesty, and knowledge level. And that's how I was very pick and choosy about my associates who are going to be there to lead the show with me. We Indians have one good or bad habit because we never say no to anything, and that's how we become jack of all. My advice to all youngsters will be master of what you are good at, be confident about what you are going to do, and be strong in what you want to do. And if you stick to your guns and do what you're good at, nothing will ever go wrong. So, first goal of BDR Pharma is charity begins at home. We have an organization which is no small by any means. We have almost 2,000 plus employees. These employees always look upon to us during their difficult times. And I always pray to Almighty that I should be strong enough to meet their hazards or their difficult times. And that's what we have always done so. Secondly, we do a lot for cancer patients who can't afford the medication. We do a lot of charitable services to them. And third, during COVID time, we have proved to the world that instead of making money, even though being the first one to produce remdesivir or liposomal amphotericin, we did a lot of charity on a compassionate ground and help every patient in a need. When some of the other players were selling on a black market for 70 and 80,000 rupees a vial, we did not charge anything to the patient who were in need. So our philosophy is very clear that first our goal is to help cancer patients, because whenever any person getting suffering from a cancer, it's not individual who suffers, the whole family suffers, because we live in a kind of social culture where whether your family can afford or not, they would like to go out of the way to put their all resources into the business in order to see that the patient survives. And we all know that this is one treatment where nobody is sure about the percentage of survival, and that ruins the house. So I witnessed during my dad's journey, while a lot of poor people, that somebody mortgaged the house, somebody lost the job, took away the gratuity and provident fund, and still they were deprived of the right treatment and they lost the nearest and dearest. So I think this is one segment where we do contribute big way.